Greetings. This is the 2020 Sacramento Area Council of Governments, SACOG Participant Statistical Areas Program, PSAP web app tool. This tool is designed to assist member jurisdictions within the Sacramento region in updating their Census Bureau boundaries of census tracts, block groups, designated places, and county divisions. My name is Warren Navarro. I'm going to be your tutorial guide and GIS analyst for this video. And this is our splash page once you get a link to this website. So up here, just a little breakdown of what's on here is going to be the tutorial video link, which you're watching right now, a contact for our program manager, Tina Glover, a contact for the county lead, which we don't have right now for Sacramento, and myself as the GIS analyst for SACOG. This section right here, SACOG maps and data, is just the maps and data associated. And finally, last but not least, the PSAP resource website. So you can get information on updating our 2020 census boundaries for the Sacramento region. Once you're done with this section, all you have to do is just hit the OK and you get to move forward. Okay, so today we're going to be using Sacramento as our guide or our demo, test demo. And we're just going to be using their data for today. So to start off, I'm just going to go a little bit in regards to the tool sets we're going to be using and the tools offered within this web app tool. So first and foremost, our zoom in and zoom out. Plus is in, minus is out. So you see that go in and out. You could also use the roll mouse. You could use the roll on your mouse. So roll in, roll out. Then I get to move to the left or the right, so use your left mouse button to drag left and right. This button right here is the home button, which is our default extent. So let's just say, you're working away and you're looking at some certain areas, but you just want to zoom back out to see the whole region. Just hit default extent and moves on to that. There's also a My Location button, so if you click on that, it will look for your location via your internet connection. The next one right here is Find Address. Let's just say there's a certain address that you want to get to, you want to take a look at. So just type in address. So today I'll be using SACOG's address of 415 L Street, 95814. There you go. And it pops in. I just have to zoom in. And right there it gives us the location of whichever you typed in for. So let's just close that out and delete that so it clears it. So the first tool I'm going to be describing is going to be our base map tool. So let me use the home button again to get the wide shot of the Sacramento area. Here you go. Let's hit the base map gallery. So the base map gallery provides options for multiple base maps to be put on the web app tool. Right now I have the dark canvas on, but let's just say I want to use the imagery, aerial imagery. So I just click on imagery and there you go, I have my aerial imagery. The Census Bureau has recommended to use aerial imagery to make your edits or make your suggested edits. It helps out in showing natural boundaries such as rivers, mountain edges, crop fields as such. So it could give you a little bit of assistance. So most of the time you should be making your edits in aerial, but let's just say I want to change that to a different view. So I'm just going to go back to dark gray canvas. You just hit the base map button right here on the very first on your left, the very first tool, base map gallery. Select whichever type of base map you want to use. So I'm just going to stick with dark canvas. Next is the legend. So the legends tool here gives us a visual representation of the symbology of the layers that is loaded into this web app. So right now, this legend functions as if your layers that are activated or in your layers list, which I'm going to be describing next, that's what's going to show up in the legend. So we have our cities, counties, opportunity zones, PSAP notes, and PSAP editor. So PSAP notes and PSAP editor will be described in an edit tool later on. And then we got our census tract of 2020 that is suggested by the Census Bureau. We have our current 2010 census tract, and finally our census tract difference of 2020 and 2010. So this layer right here is an analysis layer. It's just depicting the difference between 2010 and 2020. So there's going to be two sets of these. First is going to be the census tract, and then finally the census block group. So for now we have the census tract active. So we could actually see where are the differences. They're stating from census for the census tract of 2020 and 2010. Okay, and I will be describing a tool later on to assist with you showing what are the differences. So next we're going to be describing the layers list. So layers list right here. These are what is checked off is what are the layers that are active. So right now we have major roads, the cities, the counties, opportunity zones. We have our editors, and then we have the Census Tract 2020 and the 2010 and the difference one. So I'm going to hit the default extent just to go back out again, see the whole region. But we're going to focus on, let's just say, the downtown grid of Sacramento, city of Sacramento. So right here, I'm zooming in. And I'm going to turn off major roads and opportunity zones so I could just see the census tracts. And right now we have two labels active. So we have the Census Tract 2020, which is if you hit this button right here, which expands our feature layer. So we see that's in purple dash, and also the Census Tracts of 2010, that's in full solid green. So in accordance to here, we can see our labels active. But let's just say I want to see the labels for a particular layer. So right now we have two layers that have their labels turned on, but the Census 2020 is on top of the Census 2010. So I just want to see the 2010 labels. So all you have to do is hit these three buttons right here, scroll down, hide labels, turns it off, and now we can see the 2010 Census Tracts labels. You could also just turn off the layer. So if you hit this check mark right here, it turns it off, turns it back on, turns it off, back on. So that's a function right there. And in relation to the legend, let's just say I turn it off and I go back to legend. Once again, the layers that are only activated will be shown in the legend. So you can see right here, we turned off the Census 2020 Census Tracts, and now it's off over here in the legend. So getting back into the layers list, just turning on which layers you want to see. So let's just say I want to look at the census block groups. I'm going to turn off the census tracts. Turn that off. Go to census block groups, block group, block group. And voila, our block groups now are active. Purple dash is the 2020, and then expanding this, the full orange is the census block group for 2010. So this works out. So I'm going to go back and turn on Census Tracts. There's additional data that also we have down here is the Census Designated Places and also our county divisions. So I'm going back up to the Census Tract, activate that, and there you go. So let's using the default extent again. I get to zoom out of Sacramento again, and now we get to see the whole region again on Census Tract level. So remember earlier I talked about how using a tool to assist you seeing what are the differences between the 2010 and the 2020 Census Tract and block groups. So I'm going to show that now, which is our fourth tool called the swipe tool. So let's just zoom in on a particular area. Once again, downtown grid. There you go. I'm going to pull down the swipe tool for now so you guys can see. So I'm focusing on this the census tracts differences. Once again, I'm going to turn on Census Tract 2020, their labels. I'm going to show their labels. So now it's going to be on top of the 2010. Close that off. Go back to swipe tools. You have to activate the swipe tool to keep it active. So the web app is configured that the 2020 Census Tract and block groups are the default to be swiped. So right here we see here the swipe layer. So what is checked is what will be swiped off. So once again, what is checked is what will be swiped off. So my swipe tool down here, you can see this gray line with the little gray button is the dragging swipe tool. So let's just use this area right here. So 11.01, which is the 2010 census tract, and we're going to look at swipe to see where the 2020 is suggested. So in 2010, 11.01 is the 2010 census tract, but the 2020 suggested is it's split into two. This tract will be split into two now. Yes, it looks like it. So 11.01, it will be split into 11.03 and 11.02. And right here, 12.0, 12.00 will be split into two also of 12.01 and 12.02. So that is what's suggested by the Census Bureau, and this is a cool tool to use for the census just to see the differences between the census tracts or block groups. Remember to activate corresponding layer census boundaries, so census tracts with census tracts, census block groups with census block groups. Okay, so we discussed the swipe layer tool. Now this is the main point of this web app tool is to convey your edits or your suggestions for the census boundaries. So on the edit tool right here, to activate it, just hit edit, and we have two layers or feature classes to assist us with edits. The first one is notes. Let's just say you want to put down a note, to tell SACOG or tell someone within your organization that you could ask questions or you can make a suggestion. So this tool is used to assist you with making those putting those notes down. So right here, let's just say, for example, I want to leave a note for a colleague of mine, somebody in a different division. All you have to do is hit the edit tool, go to Sacramento Notes, activate that. It says this is a point file. There's only one type, so it's called a point. And all you have to do is just place it where you would like to leave the note for an individual. So right here, I'm going to leave it here on 11.03, which is the suggested 2020 census tract. So I click one button, and you can see it's processing. So it brings up this window. So both editors are going to have this window for the point layer and the line feature. So remember, there are some preloaded cities within each county web app tool, which is corresponding to the county. So this is Sacramento. This has all the Sacramento cities. So for example, I'm gonna leave a note, or this is, I'm leaving a note for probably somebody in Sacramento. And then the boundary. This is important. You're corresponding the edits to which census tract, census boundary. So this is going to be for the census tract. And then finally, I'm just going to leave some edits. So I'm just going to call this test, but you can leave whatever edits you want to leave. You can leave it for SACOG, or you can leave it for someone in your jurisdiction, so you guys could pass along notes to each other. I'm just going to call this test 1. There you go. Hit save. And once you see it saved, hit close, and there you go. You have your first edit. Kind of perplexed why this is not across, but I'm going to have to take a look at that later. So you left your first note, but let's just say, you want to make some edits of boundaries, so you could give a suggestion. So the way this web app is set up, you could just draw your edits, and then that edit will be passed on to SACOG, and Tina and I will be making, taking a look at these edits, and then Tina will be making the final suggestion. Then we get to make those edits into cups. So to make a line edit to show some boundaries, you could click on, once again, start with the edit button, active that, hit PSAP edits, which is the line feature, which is this line. Oh, there you go. Our layer popped up. It's now a crosshair or a cross. So let's just say, you're suggesting to the Census Bureau, hey, we actually want a census tract along 19th Street bounded by 21st Street and bounded by Capitol Avenue, and I would say, what is this street down here? Using the light rail line. So what you have to do is click once to start, pull, click once to make one point, and then pull again. Now here's a trick. If you want to snap it to a line feature or a vertice, hold Control, and you see that little crosshair active. Let me move it up to the middle. Well, it's not snapping to anything. Oh, there you go. So it has to slap to a 9 or intersection, some feature. So right there, you see the crosshair. So I'm going to snap it back here at this intersection. Click once to make the point, then pull again. Click one more time. I want to snap there. Oops. Click one more time. And then finally, my final, let's just say I want to be done with my edits. You double click to complete. So double click to complete. And now, once again, as previously in the edits, I'm going to say this is for the city of Sacramento. This is a census tract. My comment is goes by threshold or whichever comment you want to make. We would like to make this a census tract, and you have to put in the comments why this qualifies as a census tract. And I'll be going over some information, some resource information that is built into here to help you with that. Goes meets census tract thresholds. There you go. Hit save. I am saving, I am saving, I am saving, and I will hit close. Okay, so that's how you make edits. You can go by suggestion. Here's another type of edit too. So let's go back to edit again. Hit PSAP SAC edits. And then, whoops, you know what? I'm going to close that off first. I'm going to get my view centered. Here you go. Hit edit. PSAP edit line tool. Let's just say you agree with this line right here suggested by the Census Bureau. You're like, yeah, that's cool. That's a good suggestion. And the State of Sacramento will adopt it, or we are fine with it. So all you have to do is, once again, hit Control to enable snapping. I'm going to click once to start, pull, and click twice to complete. And now this is the City of Sacramento, and I'm going to be a census tract. You could say right here, agree with census recommendation, and that's enough information for me to go with that edit. So I will make that edit in GUPS, so it's much easier on you. You just have to tell me what you if you agree or where you suggested, and I'll do the edits for you. So it's just much easier. So you don't have to do that much work. Hit close, and voila. So you're probably asking yourself, hey Warren, is there a way to actually look at the tables of all the data that is associated in this web app? Well, good sir and ma'am, there is actually. Right here on the bottom, you can see this little arrow right here. It's called the open attribute. Hit the open attribute, and there you go. I have loaded up tables that I think are pertinent to the web app tool. So we have our PSAP notes, which is that first edit we did. You could actually even use that for an edit to tell us at SACOG you agree or disagree, or passing messages along. And you can actually see here I made that first one, census tract test 1, and I made it today 410 at 154. But let's just say you want to see the line edits. There you go. We have our 2 line edits. So depending on the extent that you are, if the extent that you're in your viewing is going to show up with whichever records that there is. So let's just say I zoom in. Wait for it. I zoom in on this particular area. You notice my line features have dropped off. You can't see them anymore. So it's depending on the extent that you're at, it's going to show you which records are going to show. So those are both back. So this is the table feature. Here in the census tract suggested, you can see right here we got the tract label activated, the name of it, the population for the 2020 and 2020 projections for population and housing. Also in the census tract, the census tract has this information, pertinent information also. Census block group. And finally, some other county divisions and such. So, I made an edit here on March 19th, actually. Let me take a look at that. We could zoom into it. Oh, no, wait, never mind. All right, so this is the attribute table. Hopefully it's helpful to our users. So let's just say you want to delete some edits. All you have to do is click on the edit, go back to our edit tool, and hit the delete. Since this is a test demo, State of Sac don't need to see this. So I'm just going to delete my first edit, and then I'm going to go back to the PSAP editor for the PSAP editor from the line features. Select both of them, and then go back to edit and hit delete, and that should delete it. And it will refresh. There you go. Hit the refresh and it'll go away. All right, so that is the attribute table. I'm going to close that down, and I'm going to close down the edit since I'm not going to be making edits for the rest of the video. So other tools that are attached on this web app tool is right here, the information button. So let's just say you want to know the thresholds or some information from the PSAP with a quick, handy click tool. So all you have to do is hit the I button. And right here we have information on our census tract, block groups, designated places, county divisions, and the PSAP webinar. So if you click on Census Tracts, that should activate another tab. And this gives you the thresholds, so it gives you right away, oh, okay, these are the population thresholds. So it's a quick, handy tool to give you information about making suggestions for edits for tracts, block groups, designated places, and county divisions. And then right here, going to the block group one, you can just see it. And come on, just a little slow. It should show up. There you go. So here's the block group thresholds. Designated places, there's 2 of them. So it gives you an overview how to make them. And here's another one. And finally, county divisions. So this is just an information tool just to help you out. So we'll move on to the next one, which is the print tool. So let's just say you want to take a snapshot of an area, and then you want to put that in an email, send it off to somebody, or you want to get a paper copy of it. So hit the print button right here. So while the tool loads up, give it a minute or so. Once again, just to remind everybody, this is a web app tool that is created online. So it may take some time to load up some tools depending on your connection to your internet connection and connecting to our server at SACOG. So just give it a minute or so while this loads. Oh, there you go. So you can type in your title right here. Check out which layout you want to do, which is the size of your map. Typically, it's just 8x11 landscape, and then format. Preferably, you should be using PDFs. You can put it in GIFs or JPEG, but most of the time, everybody's going to be using PDFs. And then you can hit the advanced right here. You put in your author scale. This has all been preset, but if you want to have a real high quality, let's just say, you have your imagery on and you want it to be high quality, you could change the DPI here, which is a max of 300 to get a really high quality, or the highest quality you could get from this web app. So you can put in 300, and then all you have to do, oh wait, I'm going to put the title right here, called tests, landscape, and I am the author. So, oopsie daisy, I'm going to go back to the advanced, call Warren, and there is a copyright already pre-included. And then we have our legend, hit print. It's creating the print, so it's creating the map. Let's just wait a little bit. Just a friendly reminder, the first edits for the PSAP to be due to SACOG will be April 15th. So try to get your first round, and the second round will be May 1st, I believe. Or May, I think it's May 10th actually. It's May 10th. So please get your edits, by April 15th or May 10th at that time. So that way it gives us a little bit of time at SACOG to make those edits into GUPS when we upload it to the SWIM to the Census Bureau. So now we created our edits. Depending on where you have it saved, it might be saved in your download folder and such. I gotta find my download folder. Where did it go? Oh well, I'm making a second one. I'll click on that. There you go. So here's our edits, and you can see it. It's just a standard map. Okay. Oh, okay. You click on the map itself, and then it will bring it up to you. Then you could probably download a copy of it. So there you go. The last tool I'm going to be describing is the share tool. So let's just say you want to share this web app within your organization to another individual. Hit the share, and you will get a link. So you can copy and paste, or you can embed this into a website. More than welcome to. Depending on the settings for the web app, it could be open or closed to individuals or the public or certain individuals. So this is the share tool, which is the link. All right. Other than that, I believe I went through all of the tool sets for this web app tool. So once again, my name is Warren Navarro with Sacramento Area Council of Governments. I have described the Participant Statistical Areas Program web app tool. If you have any questions or concern, please give Tina or myself an email. Other than that, looking forward to working with you. Have a nice day.